My fight with cancer. Hello, my name is David. I am 50 years old. I have a wife, 2 kids, and a small shop in my town. My life was simple and peaceful. I worked hard every day, and in the evenings I sat with my family. But one day everything changed. I started feeling very tired. Even after resting, I felt weak. My back hurt, and I lost weight quickly. My wife, Anna, noticed and said, "David, you need to see a doctor." I didn't want to go, but she insisted. At the hospital, the doctor asked many questions. He said, "We need to run some tests." I agreed, though I felt nervous. I sat in the waiting room thinking about my family. What if something is wrong, I thought. A few days later, the doctor called me back. He looked serious. "David," he said, "we found something in your blood tests. You have cancer." My heart sank. I couldn't believe it. "How bad is it?" I asked. The doctor explained, "We need to do more tests to understand, but we will do everything we can to help you." I felt tears in my eyes. Anna held my hand and said, "We will face this together. This is just the beginning of my story. I want to share what happens next." The next few weeks were full of hospital visits. I had more tests, scans, and meetings with doctors. Each time I walked into the hospital, I felt scared. I didn't know what the future held. One day the doctor told me, "David, the cancer is in your lungs. We must start treatment soon." I nodded, even though I didn't fully understand. Anna asked many questions. She wanted to know how to help me. The doctor said I needed chemotherapy. He explained, "It will be hard, but it can fight the cancer." I agreed because I wanted to live. I wanted to see my children grow up and stay with Anna. My first chemotherapy session was strange. The nurses were kind and gentle. They explained everything. But when the medicine went into my body, I felt cold. I sat in a chair for hours thinking about my life. At home, things started to change. I felt weak all the time. My hair began to fall out. My children looked at me with worried eyes. I tried to smile and tell them Daddy will be okay, but inside I was scared. This was just the beginning of my battle. I knew it would be long and hard. But I had my family by my side, and that gave me hope. As the days went by, I tried to keep a normal routine. I would wake up early, help Anna with breakfast, and talk to the kids before they went to school. But deep inside I felt tired and unsure. The chemotherapy made me sick. I couldn't eat much, and I often felt dizzy. Some nights I couldn't sleep because of the pain. I would sit by the window, looking at the stars, thinking about life. I asked myself why me, but there were no answers. Anna was my rock. She stayed strong for me and the kids. She reminded me to take my medicine and go to my appointments. Sometimes, when I felt too weak to get up, she would hold my hand and say, "We're in this together, David." One day, my son Michael came home with a drawing. It was of our family all smiling. He said, "This is us, Dad. You're strong like a superhero." His words gave me strength. I wanted to fight, not just for me, but for them. But not every day was easy. Some days I felt like giving up. I wondered if I would ever feel normal again. Yet I told myself, take one day at a time, just one step. The journey was hard, but I wasn't alone, and that made all the difference. Weeks turned into months, and life began to change. I started to lose my hair because of the treatment. At first, I was embarrassed. I didn't want to look in the mirror. But Anna and the kids said I was still the same to them. Their kindness made me feel better. One morning, I woke up feeling a little stronger. I decided to go for a walk. The fresh air felt good, and the sunlight warmed my face. As I walked through the park, I saw people laughing, playing and enjoying life. It reminded me that life was still beautiful. At the hospital, I met others going through the same fight. We shared our stories and gave each other hope. There was an old man named George who said, "Every day you wake up is a gift. Use it well." His words stayed with me. At home, I started to write in a journal. I wrote about my fears, my dreams, and my gratitude. Writing helped me feel lighter. It reminded me of the things I still had: love, family, and hope. The journey wasn't over, but I could feel a small light inside me. It whispered, "Keep going. You are stronger than you think." The months passed, and I learned to live with my new reality. Some days were harder than others. There were moments when the pain felt like too much, and I wanted to give up. But every time I saw Anna and the kids, I found a reason to fight. One evening, Anna surprised me with a small party at home. "We're celebrating life," she said. Friends and family came over and we laughed and shared memories. For the first time in months, I felt normal again. The love in the room was stronger than my fear. I also found strength in helping others. I volunteered to talk to people newly diagnosed with cancer. I told them my story and listened to theirs. Together we built a small community of hope. Knowing I could make someone else's journey easier made my own pain feel smaller. One day the doctor told me the treatment was working, the tumour was getting smaller. It wasn't a cure, but it was a chance to live a little longer and see more sunsets, birthdays, and quiet mornings with my family. I realized life wasn't about how much time we have, but how we use it. And I promised myself to use every moment to love, laugh, and make a difference. As the years went by, I kept my promise. I spent more time with Anna and the kids, creating memories we would never forget. We travelled to places we had always dreamed of, even if it was just a nearby beach or a small mountain town. Every trip felt like a gift. I also started writing a journal about my journey. I wanted to leave something behind for my family and others who might face the same battle. "Life is fragile," I wrote, "but it's also beautiful. Even in the hardest times there is light." One afternoon, while sitting in the garden, I watched my grandchildren play. Their laughter filled the air, and I felt a peace I hadn't known in years. I smiled, knowing I had fought for these moments and that it was worth it. Eventually, my body grew weaker, but my heart stayed strong. I wasn't afraid anymore. I'd lived a full life, one filled with love and purpose, and even as my journey came to an end, I knew my story would live on in the hearts of those I loved. This is my story, a story of struggle, hope, and the power of love. If you are facing a hard time, remember this: every moment is precious. Hold on to the ones you love, and never stop believing in the light, even in the darkest of days.